Well, you can taste the flavor of the beer before you make a full batch. Brewers can taste the beer, taste the profiles of the malt, blending the malts separately, getting flavor profiles of the malts before they brew a beer with it. So it's kind of like analyzing the malt before you make a beer with it, and have to try to sell it to the public. So it's a kind of a look at how the beer is going to turn out before they make it into beer.
Have a taste of the Excelsior Pills. We want to be sort of methodical about how we do this. So the first thing you want to do is you want to look at the malt. You want to, at the steep. You want to evaluate the color and the clarity. The next thing you want to do is you want to try to concentrate the flavors. So if you put your hand around the cup and sort of warm it, trap those flavors with your hand on top, you'll concentrate the volatile aroma compounds. Then you want to use your nose. You want to smell and bring all of that into your nose and get a sense of all of the different descriptors that you might feel. And we use what's called descriptive sensory. So we're trying to make associations with other compounds we know already from our life, like toast or toffee or coffee or vanilla. And so we make associations. After that, we taste, we drink the malt, the liquid, we swish it around in our mouth, and then we swallow it, and then we breathe out. And that allows us to engage what we call retronasal olfaction, or actually having it what we call aftertaste. So using this method, we get a full range to experience the full range of flavors and aromas.
I mean, previously the way you do it is you open the bag and you chew on some grain. That's what probably most of us in there do. It just doesn't tell you enough. And this kind of tells you everything up front.
Well, malt sensory is a new concept within the last few years to distinguish beer flavor. Malt sensory just fits hand in hand with New York craft malt. We make malt in all kinds, we roast it, but the sensory perception of what your beer can be done fairly easily done by a Congress mash, this short steeping of the malts, and the flavor profile comes right out in the malts for the brewers before they even brew the beer.
So we're actually demonstrating today the ASBC hot steep method. This is relatively new. It was only developed and published a couple of years ago, and it's a great tool to allow brewers to compare and contrast and evaluate different malts as opposed to just chewing the malt. So it's a very simple preparation involving grinding up the malt and preparing it with hot water, and then allowing it to sort of steep and soak like you would a tea, and then filtering it, and it gives us these liquids that we can then use to evaluate the sensory properties of the malt.
This whole process is something I've read about and listened to podcasts about, but never went through it. So having them organize this was plenty to convince me this is the right way to do this.